We're going to talk about some of the new homes available for sale on the villages.com website. We will wait a few minutes while others join. It's customary to wait a few minutes. How are y'all doing? It looks like I'm live and in person. How are y'all doing? Thanks for joining. We'll wait for a few more people to join. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Good enough. So the webcam I'm using, yes, webcam. Let's look at the chat box. Thanks for joining, everyone. Happy Tuesday evening. We will wait a few minutes. What you see on the screen is the villages.com website and the new homes. We will tour those shortly. I did provide you some videos about some of these homes. Hey, good morning. How are you? Let me know how are y'all doing. Leave a message in the chat below. My name is Tim, as you can see by the screen. Happy Tuesday evening in the Villages, Florida. We'll wait for some people to come on board. Oh, there you go. Hi, welcome. Very nice. Hello, welcome. Soon we will start the tour of the new homes in the Villages. Let me know in the chat box below who's watching, where you're from. Soon we will start the tour. Let me know how you're all doing. Happy Tuesday. I do appreciate it. Hi, welcome. Let me know what kind of homes you want to talk about. Do you want to talk about veranda homes, patio villas, cottage homes, Happy Tuesday, designer homes, the most popular home in the Villages? Let me know in the chat below what kind of homes you want to talk about. Otherwise, we'll talk about everyone. We will talk about them all if you want to. Soon we will start looking at brand new homes on the map. We'll talk about home sites. We'll talk about bond information as well. Let me know in the chat below who's watching and what kind of home you're interested in. Maybe you're not interested in any homes. I don't know that for sure. Thanks for joining. How are you doing? All right, let's start in on the new home tour. Let's start in on the new home tour. Interesting. You should be able to see me on the screen. Let me know in the chat box below. Here we go. This is a map of the Villages, Florida. This is the southern part of the Villages. Let's go and look at the entire Villages. The red dots are all of the Villages. This is Highway 42 in the north. And the red dots are pre-owned homes. And you can see there's a lot of pre-owned homes for sale. So why not buy a pre-owned home is the question I have. You can get some good deals on pre-owned homes. Here is an at ease model, which is in Fenny for $339. That is a cottage series home, actually. So let me know if you're interested in pre-owned homes or not. Here's a home, and anytime you see a home with a golf cart in the picture, usually the golf cart transfers with the home. So you can be reasonably assured that if you buy the home, the golf cart goes with it. That's kind of the rule of thumb in the Villages. If you see the golf cart in the picture, usually the golf cart transfers when you buy the home. Lots of open homes, lots of pre-owned homes here in the Villages. There are a lot of homes. And we will go through some of the new homes as well. Hello, welcome. Let me know in the chat box below. We're just looking at some of the pre-owned homes in the Villages. Highway 42 runs east and west in the north. And for those new to the Villages, let's take a look at the roads. Excuse me. Highway 42 is the northern part of the Villages, runs east and west. And then you have County Road 466, which runs east and west. And then you have County Road 466A, which runs east and west. And then your north-south roads. Buena Vista Boulevard is a north-south road. And Morse. If you know those 5 roads, you can navigate yourself through the Villages. Hello, how are you? Good evening, C. Fry. Thanks for joining. Good evening to you. I appreciate you joining. How are y'all doing? So I'm just giving an overview of the Villages map. If you know 5 roads, you can navigate yourself through the Villages pretty well. You need to know your east-west roads, which are County Road 42 in the north, 466 in the middle, and 466A in the lower middle. And then you have County Road 44 in the south, and then the Turnpike, and then you have all the new homes in the south. And then you have north-south roads. You have Buena Vista Boulevard running north and south, and you have Morse Boulevard. So that's kind of how you navigate yourself through the Villages based on those roads. Thanks for joining. So let's take a look at the pre-owned homes. You might be able to get yourself a good bargain on a pre-owned home. There seems to be a lot of them for sale. And they even have pre-owned homes in the southern part of the Villages. In the Eastport area, here's Shady Brook. And these are Middleton homes. These are interesting. They have homes in Middleton. Oh, these are Moultrie Creek. Yeah, Middleton. So they have quite a few pre-owned homes for sale in Middleton. That's interesting. And Middleton, if you're new to the channel, is built. It's I guess a quasi town square. It has a high school. It has retail, restaurants. It has a performing arts center as well. That was built for the employees of the villages. Thanks for joining. My name is Tim. We are just going through some of the pre-owned homes in the villages, and I'm surprised to see quite a few homes in Middleton for sale. It's a non-age restricted community that was built for the employees and the contractors of the villages, Florida. It's located here. Eastport is located there in the southern part of the villages. All right. So is anybody interested in owning a home in Middleton? $699 for that one, $499, $629. There's some expensive homes in Middleton, $799. Let's take a look at this 432 home. And they have a lot different designs in Middleton. They have more two-story designs built for families, if you noticed. It is called a family neighborhood. 432,000, 4-bedroom and 3-bathroom, 2,200 square feet. Designed with families in mind, Middleton is a community where you can live, work, learn, and play, offering all the fun and recreation. The village's A-rated charter school is located there. And that's true. The charter school is very good, has a very good education program there. And here's some of the home features of that home. I wonder if they have any photos other than staged photos. Looks like they're all staged. Oh, here you go. So you can see they have a lot of different designs in Middleton. And it's non-age restricted, so you'll have families and children there. But I don't know a lot about the home construction in Middleton. Hello, welcome everyone. Let me know when you want. We will start going through the new homes in the villages. Let's start now. Let's go. I was just going through the map and looking at all the pre-owned homes. All the red dots are pre-owned homes in the villages. So if you're not interested in a new home, you can purchase pre-owned homes pretty much anywhere you want in the villages, Florida, which is very interesting to me. Very interesting. All these pre-owned homes in the villages. So you can have your pick. And I'm guessing you can probably purchase these homes at a reasonable price. Here's a Braxton. This is a colony patio villa in the village of Ashland, which is in the northern part of the villages. And the village of Ashland is going to be very near your shopping, all your shopping on 466. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look. Colony patio villa in the village of Ashland. Open home. Open tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. in the village of Ashland. Colony patio villa. Neighborhood. Ashland is a good neighborhood. If you want to be close to shopping, it's probably only a 6-minute golf cart ride to the brand new Costco store from the village of Ashland. Thanks for joining. So if you want to be near shopping, and also very close to a lot of executive golf courses. So here's the village of Ashland. Look at all the executive golf courses near this home. You have one there, you have one there. And this is why I'm telling you, you have, I think this is a championship golf course. This is Arnold Palmer. You have another executive golf course here and there. Which one is this? That's the Wildlife Preserve. Oh, that's Glenview. That is a championship golf course. But the reason I like living in this area is because there are a lot of swimming pools, a lot of executive golf courses nearby. If you keep going west, more executive golf courses. Here, look at all the executive golf courses here. That's all within a 5 or 10 minute golf cart ride of the village of Ashland. And that's why I like living in this area. And here is your Colony Patio Villa, pre-owned. And these are typical. That is your patio villa for sale. It is listed on the village's website, so you'd have to work with a VLS, Villages Listing Service agent. You really cannot use a multiple listing service agent if it's listed here. But you can also go to other websites like realtor.com and you can see more homes listed for sale by multiple listing service agents. So if you're not compelled to buy a new home, you can buy pre-owned homes, I think for reasonable. This is $324,900. Let's see if this home has a bond on it. A lot of times they will indicate in the description if there is a bond. Laundry hookup, oak cabinets, hard to see, no carpet. My guess is that there is a bond on the home. And you could easily look it up. 2234 Braxton Street. Let's look this up. I know that this home is located in Sumter County. So let's go to Sumter County Tax Collector. Sumter County Tax Collector. And let's look the bond up for this home. Randy Mask Tax Collector. If you go here, you can do a property search on a property tax. If it allows me to. We'll actually look the tax bill up, and on the tax bill, I will show you where the bond will be. So here you can input the address. Is 2234 Braxton Street. So 2234 Braxton Street. And look at that, 2234 Braxton Street in the Villages. It pops it up. And now we can look up the tax bill. It's all public information. So here is the tax bill. 2024 tax bill. Paid. That one looks kind of weird, but let's look at the PDF. I hope I can open it. Let's try to see what the tax bill looks like. Oh. Well, let's do it this way. We're going to look at, well, this is the tax bill, 2024 tax bill. It's paid. That's one thing you should look for if you're looking at a pre-owned home. Make sure that they're paying their taxes, that their taxes are not in arrear. And this one looks like it's paid up. So here's your tax, ad valorem taxes. These are going to be similar to what you have in the north. This is going to be your county tax, your school tax. I'm not sure what that is, your fire district tax. And then you have non-ad valorem assessments. Now, these are going to be essentially pass-through charges. These are going to be your maintenance assessment fees. This is the maintenance assessment fee. So this patio villa has a maintenance assessment fee of $239.10 per year. And that's one of the advantages of living in the north, is that your maintenance assessment fees are typically lower when you live in the north. If you buy a brand new patio villa in the south, my guess is that maintenance assessment fee is going to be higher. It's probably going to be in that $300 or $400 range. And here's your bond amount. It is the Bellamy Villa bond. And you can see that the bond is not paid off, that they are paying $400 per year toward the bond. And I know this section of the Villages is fairly old, so there's not many years left to go on the bond. There's 5 years left. And we could look it up. We could actually look it up on the Villages, on the districtgov.org website. We'd have to know what district this is, and I'm pretty sure this is District 5. So let's look up the bond in District 5. It might not let me do it. So there is a bond amount on the home, and there is a fire district cost, $320. So these are the pass-through charges. They're non-ad valorem assessments. And when you pay your bond off, then this charge will go away. Your maintenance assessment fee will always stay there. Your fire fee will always stay there. So that is how your property tax bills are set up in the Villages. You have your ad valorem taxes. Those are your normal county tax. And then the non-ad valorem assessments, those are your pass-through charges that the Villages, they pass the information on to the county. The county will add it to the tax bill. You pay the county, and then the county will send that money back over to the Villages. Thanks for joining. My name is Tim. We are going through this home here, actually. We're looking to see if this home has a bond. This is a pre-owned home. It's a patio villa in the village of Ashland. It's a colony patio villa. These are very popular homes, 1,156 square feet. And I noticed in the home features, it did not mention the bond. Oh yeah, it does. Bond not paid. So I verified that by going to the Sumter County tax collector website, and I input the address of the home, and I looked at last year's property tax bill, and that's what this is. And if you scroll, you will see the non-ad valorem assessment, and your bond payment is $402, which is another reason it's nice to purchase a pre-owned home in the north. The bonds will either be paid off or the bond payments will be really low. Now, if you compare a brand new patio villa in the Tim Villas in the south in Well Point, the bond payment is $1,812 per year if you choose to pay it off in 30 years. And you can see the bond here is only $400 a year, which is another reason I like living in the north. It's just lower cost of living in the north. So if you look, let's see if they allow me to go to the bond information. So if you go to the Villages bond and you look it up and you click on that, yeah, it doesn't let me get into the website. That's because I think I'm in a foreign country. That's why they're not letting me get into the website. But you could actually look the bond up. I know this home is located in District number 5. It's in the village of Ashland. And you'd go to the bond information on the district.org website. You'd go into Sumter County. You'd go into District number 5. And then you would look for the Bellamy Villas right here, because this home is located in the Bellamy Villa. And that's kind of how you do your research to determine what the bond is, if it's paid off. Sometimes they make mistakes in the listing, and the listing agent will make a mistake. So anytime I was researching a pre-owned home, I always went to the county tax collector website. I wanted to see if the bond was there. I also wanted to know where the home is located. It's located in the Bellamy Villas. So I could look up the bond amortization schedule, because the next step would be to go to the districtgov.org website and look up the bond amortization schedule to see how many more years of bond is left on this home. And the bonds are amortized over 30 years. I know this neighborhood was built around 22, 25 years ago. So I would expect there would be about 5 more years of bond payment. So I would expect the bond balance to be $2,000 or $3,000 only. And if I could get to the website, I would call the bond amortization schedule up and show you that. Hey, J-Lo, how are you? Happy Tuesday evening to you. I appreciate you joining the live. 9:06. What time is it? Sorry, I hope this helps. So I was at the villages.com website, and I noticed there's a ton of pre-owned homes for sale. And then I drilled into a home in the village of Ashland, this colony patio villa. And this colony patio villa is listed at $324,900. And then I wanted to know if there's a bond available and what the bond balance is. And I'm coming to a conclusion that the bond balance is probably in that $3,000 or $4,000 range. So the all-in cost of this home is probably $324,900 plus $4,000 maybe. So you're looking at about $329,000. And then you compare that to a brand new patio villa in the south. Let's take a look at a new one in the Tim Villas, for instance. So let's go to the Tim Villas here in the south and look at an equivalent patio villa, 1,100 square feet or so. What would be an equivalent patio villa? An Emerald? Not really. Haven. They don't really make the Colony anymore. So what is a Garnet? An Opal, maybe? Is an Opal kind of similar? Let's look at it. Yeah, an Opal looks very similar to a Colony patio villa, 1,257 square feet. It's a little larger home. So if you look at this Opal, it's $268,000. And the Tim Villa bond is $27,000. So $296,000, and you can get yourself into this Opal model, which is almost identical to a Colony villa. Owned home is how much? $29,000 more. $296,000. Home is actually 100 square foot larger than the Colony patio villa. And with the bond, you can get into it. This looks exactly like a Colony patio villa. And with the bond, you can get into this home for $296,000. And the other home, probably $329. This one's going to have composite plank flooring. It's going to have quartz countertops. Let's see if anybody is messaging me. What Eastport's supposed to open? I don't know when Eastport is going to open. That's kind of vague. It depends on how you define open, because these things open slowly. You will have some stores open. If you define Eastport as opening when the bands start playing at night, that could be within 6 months. If you define Eastport as being open when the hotel opens, that could be 6 months or a year. Do you define Eastport as being open when most of your restaurants are open? That could be 2 or 3 years. So it depends on how you define as open, because I think it's going to be a phased in approach, similar to what you see in Middleton, where you're going to have a couple of restaurants open here and there, but it's not fully open. They're still going to have a lot of vacant commercial and retail spaces. So how do you define open? Is it open when the bands start playing? I think that could happen in 6 months or a year. But it's not going to be comfortable. I think Eastport, before I define Eastport being open, is when it's comfortable to go to the town square, when the bands are playing, when the restaurants are open, or most of your restaurants are open, when most of your retail is open. That's how I would define Eastport being open. And I think that's going to take several years. But if you're one of those people that define Eastport as being open when the bands start playing, that could be 6 months or a year. But when Eastport opens and the bands start playing, there might not be any restaurants to go to, or there might be one. To me, that's not comfortable. That's not being open to me. So I think when the Villages identifies that Eastport will open, I think they mean that when the bands will start playing. But I don't think Eastport is going to be fully open and fully operational for quite some time, for a couple of more years for sure. So that's why I'm leery about answering the question, when is Eastport going to open? Because my definition of opening is going to be different than your definition of opening. And I think that's kind of how it is. And I think that it's going to take a long time for Eastport to be fully open. Because look at Middleton. Middleton isn't even close to be fully open. They have, what, 3 or 4, maybe 2 or 3 restaurants open. They have 2 or 3 retail stores open. But 80 or 90% of the retail and commercial space is still vacant in Middleton. That's what I can see happening in Eastport. It's going to take a long time to be fully open. Well, thank you, J-Lo. All the information provided is very helpful. I'm taking it all in. Yes. And that's what you gotta, concern yourself with. I'm just looking at Middleton. I'm looking at Sawgrass Grove. I know it took a while for Sawgrass Grove to open, and they only have like 3 or 4 or 5 retailers at Sawgrass Grove, and it took quite a while for those retailers to open. I know that the bar at Sawgrass Grove, when I was there early on, people were waiting for the bar to open, and it took longer than expected. And when I asked the bartender what was the deal, they said they were having permitting issues. There was a miscommunication between the Villages and the owner of the bar of who's going to take out the liquor permits and that type of thing. So there is more to it than just opening a building. You're going to have find people to sign leases. You're going to have to get permitting. You can have some miscommunication issues. And I thought it took a lot longer for Sawgrass Grove to open than it should have. I do appreciate that. So I think Eastport is going to take longer than you think for it to fully open, but the bands might start playing in 6 months or a year. But who knows? You never know. And then you have to find people who want to play. You have to find bands that want to sign a contract with the Villages and perform every night. That takes time. And but in my opinion, for Eastport to be fully open and comfortable, even with 75% of the retail and restaurants open, I think that's going to take multiple years from now. That's my opinion. So where are we? We're back to this patio villa. So what we discovered was you can buy a pre-owned patio villa in the village of Ashland in the north for all in around $325, $329, and here you can buy a brand new one similar in Well Point for all in $296. So the question is the pre-owned home worth a $30,000 premium? And I would say probably not. It's not. But you can see this is the Tim Villas. You can see there are a ton of brand new patio villas for sale. And I want to know if anybody from the Villages is watching, and I know you're watching, did you name the Tim Villas after me? I'm just kidding. It wouldn't surprise me if they did or didn't. Because I've been a thorn in their side for at least 6 or 8 months. So they may have. I don't know. So if you're watching the Villages, let me know if you named them after me. But I assume they named them after maybe one of their employees. And the Tim Villas are here. And they also have the Charity bungalows. So my guess is that there is a couple that they know, and the couple's name is Tim and Charity. That's what I think it is. I'll just let you in on a little secret, because they opened these neighborhoods almost at the same time, and I think they may have had employees or friends of theirs. They had a couple that they are friendly with named Tim and Charity. That's just my guess. Let me know in the comments what you think. I doubt it. But I wouldn't be surprised, because I did talk to the Villages several times, actually on the phone, when I was doing videos, when I was walking in brand new neighborhoods of newly constructed homes. They talked to me, and they asked me kindly to wait for the homes to look a little more completed before I'd walk through the neighborhood. And I agreed. I said, okay, I'll do that. But I did talk with them several times, and they are actually reasonable people. And I just want to go on record and say they're reasonable people. There were some of my videos that they had heartburn with. I asked for forgiveness. I said I took these videos a while ago. Let me leave them up on my channel. And they said, okay. So they are reasonable people. So don't bash the Villages too bad. They are just trying to protect their brand. And I get it. They don't want hacks like me walking around in a construction zone, videoing homes that are half put together and they look terrible when they're half put together because they're in the middle of construction. This is a billion-dollar corporation, and it's a billion-dollar marketing machine. They know their marketing, and they actually gave me a couple of tips on how to prepare my videos, and I'm doing that, and I think it's helped. So they are reasonable people. They just are trying to protect their brand. So let's continue the tour. So we went through a patio villa in the north that is actually more expensive than a new patio villa in the south. And I would probably buy the new patio villa in the south based on that. So let's tour. What surprises me, and let's turn off the pre-owned filter. Let's look at brand new homes. What's surprising me is that they have designer homes still available for sale, brand new ones, right next to the Street of Dreams. And I know one of my subscribers purchased a lot in this area and built a home in this area. And I believe she said she's from Nebraska. So if you're watching this video, leave a comment and let me know how you enjoy your home here in the village of Well Point in this designer home neighborhood. There's a Dove C, Cormorant, Oriole, and a Sycamore model. And over here, you have a Sycamore model. And what I don't understand is why this home here is still for sale. The lanai is facing east. And I talked to a lot of real estate agents, multiple listing real estate agents, not villages agents. And when they resell homes in the villages, they say they can resell a home a lot faster if the lanai is facing east or north. So I'm not the only individual that is looking at the direction of the lanai. I know I had several people comment, it doesn't matter what direction the lanai faces. It really does in the villages. It really does in Florida, because if you have a lanai like this house here where it's facing west, you will get afternoon sun most of the day. It will be so warm in summertime, you will not be able to sit in that lanai. So if you have an east or north facing lanai, you'll get shade in the afternoon and evening. And also the resale. I heard it from several multiple listing service agents. They can sell a home a lot faster. And when I was doing open house videos, a lot of the houses that I was doing videos on, the lanai was facing west. And then when I was in there midday making a video and I was in the lanai and it was facing west, it was so warm in that lanai, even though they had the air conditioning in the home on. The lanai is either glassed in or it is, even when they glass the lanai in and they call it a Florida room and the temperature control it, the sun beats through that glass and it heats that room up to a point where you can't really even use it, even though it's temperature controlled. And I've seen and I've done videos on homes just like that. It was a large designer home. I remember it well. It had a very large lanai slash great room slash game room in the back of the home. It was all glass facing west. That room was so warm, even when the air conditioner was on. So don't underestimate the power of the sun in the villages. On a different topic, I heard this Villages Health Network went bankrupt. Any thoughts on the Villages Health Network? The Villages Health Network did go bankrupt. I used the Villages Health Network for my primary care physician. Overall, they were pretty good. You know, it's the healthcare in Florida in general is mediocre, in my opinion, compared to where I come from in Wisconsin. I think we had pretty top-notch health care in Wisconsin. And anywhere in Florida, your health care is going to be mediocre, in my opinion. The Villages Health, in my opinion, was mediocre. I have one doctor that I go to in Villages Health that's really good. And then I have another doctor that is mediocre. I don't know what's going to happen. I heard that Humana purchased it. Humana is a very large insurance company. And I heard not so great things about Humana. I heard Humana is kind of a mediocre insurance company. So who knows what's going to happen? My only concern about that is, are they going to consolidate operations? Are they going to eliminate some of the operations in the villages? Because part of the issue with Villages Health is they have so many different offices buried around the villages. You have offices on County Road 466. You have offices at Sumter Landing. You have offices at Lake Deaton Plaza. You have offices in Brownwood. You have offices everywhere for the villages, and a lot of times they're hard to find. Hi, how are you? Yeah, privacy walls for patio villas. That'd be kind of nice. So part of the issue I have with the village's health is there's so many offices, they're hard to find. Uh, the villages does a good job with architecture and with making commercial buildings look like residential buildings, and that happens a lot with the village's health. You'll go to, for instance, some of the healthcare up at Laurel Manor Plaza on County Road 466, and it looks like it's a house, but it's actually a village's health office. And they're kind of hard to find. Some of them are hard to find. And there are a lot of them. They are scattered all over the villages. My thought is they're probably going to consolidate some of those. They're probably going to close some of those down, and they're going to have fewer offices in the villages. You're probably going to have an option to go to the clinic in Brownwood, for instance. I do see one of my village's health doctors there. I could see her at Brownwood. I could see her at Spanish Springs. I could see her, where else could I see her? I think at Lake Deaton. And these doctors are moving from one area to the next. And they have office hours in Spanish Springs on Tuesdays, and they have office hours at Brownwood on Thursdays. I think you're going to see some of that consolidated. I think you're going to see some of those doctors probably have office hours only in Brownwood, for instance. I think that's what you're going to see. Other than that, I don't think there'll be much change. I could be wrong. Who knows? I am not worried about it. I do expect some consolidation. I do expect to see some of those offices close and consolidated into their larger offices, most likely in the south. The villages seems to be moving everything in the south. They sold their bank as well. Oh, really? I didn't know that. The villages sold their bank. Who bought the bank? I might actually bank with them now. I did not want to bank with Citizens First, owned by the developer. But if a large national bank bought them, I might be interested in using it. I don't know. There's a lot of consolidation in the banking industry. There always has been a lot of consolidation in the banking industry. I would call it a win. A win? I have a little bit of a cold. I would call it a win if a large national bank purchased them, like Citibank, like Wells Fargo Bank. I would consider that a win. Because Citizens Bank is kind of run like a small, privately, locally owned type of bank. I'm not sure what to think about that, to be honest with you. I don't use the village's bank, so I frankly don't care. I did that for a reason. I just didn't want to put all my eggs into one village's basket. I didn't want my money in the villages. I didn't want to buy a house in the villages. I didn't want everything controlled by the villages. So I wanted to segregate and separate. So my banking I do actually online with an online bank. I do not use the village's bank. But if you're banking with the villages, let me do a search. Let me do a quick search. Who purchased the villages bank? Who purchased the villages bank? Seacoast Banking Corporation of Florida, the parent company of Seacoast National Bank, is acquiring Villages Bank Corporation, the parent company of Citizens First Bank, in a deal worth $710.8 million. This acquisition will see all Citizens First Bank locations converted to Seacoast National Bank. And just to be frank with you, I have never heard of Seacoast Bank. I've never heard of it. And I've been in finance and in banking all my life. So Seacoast must be a regional bank in Florida. Let me know if you ever heard of them. I'm not sure. I'm not going to bank with the Villages Bank or Seacoast. It's probably going to be a seamless transition. Yeah, I just looked it up. I never heard of Seacoast Bank. Let's go to Seacoast Bank. Seacoast Bank holds a variety of ratings and rankings reflecting its financial health. S&P Market Intelligence ranked it 34th among the top 50 public banks in 2023. 34 out of 50. Seacoast Bank also received an A+ health rating, while some customer review sites show mixed opinions with averages around 2.5 out of 5 on Yelp. Employee reviews, Glassdoor gives it a 3.3 out of 5. I wouldn't consider that glowing reviews of Seacoast Bank. It looks like it's going to be a mediocre to an average kind of a bank. It's up to you if you want to leave your money there or move it out. It looks like it's financially solvent. That's what I look for when I look at banks. I look to see if their financial strength and financial wherewithal is good. And according to this, Seacoast Bank receives an A+ health rating. I'm not sure who's rating it, but in the finance and banking world, you have major rating agencies like Moody's and Standard & Poor's, and they will look at these banks, they will look at their financial statements, and they will give them ratings. That's what I look for. If you look at Wells Fargo, for instance, that's an A-rated bank by S&P and Moody's, I believe. If you look at Citibank, that's an A-rated bank, meaning they have financial wherewithal, their balance sheet is good, they're very strong, you probably don't have to worry about them going bankrupt. And that's the kind of banks that I put my money in. I will not put my money in a small local or regional bank that's not rated by any of those agencies, because I don't know what their financial strength is. But it appears that Seacoast Bank has a good financial strength. It's rated A+ by somebody. I would question who is rating it. Oh, KBRA affirmed its ratings, including an A- for its subsidiary. So I don't know who KBRA rating agency is, but they give them an A-, which is better than a C or a B, right? So I don't know. It's up to you. I don't think I would lose sleep over it. But Seacoast Bancorp is purchasing the Villages. I don't know if that's a signal or a sign of anything. Is that a sign that the Villages is starting to liquidate? And I know some of the rumors and the fears in the Villages is that they're going to sell their home building operations to some national home builder, and the family is going to retire and ride off into the sunset. I know there are rumors. Every year I hear rumors about that. I hear, my neighbors talk about what happens when the family owns no thanks. What happens when the family decides to retire? Who knows? The Villages, I think someday the Villages home building operations is going to get sold to somebody someday. Who knows? Is this the start of that when they're selling their bank? Could be. It could be the start of it. I don't know. I really don't know. But my thought on, even if the Villages would sell their home building operations, they have the infrastructure, they have the financial mechanisms in place. I don't know. I don't foresee that any buying the home building operations, buying the community development districts, I don't see how they could really change how the villages is operating. They are building homes probably the most efficient way that anybody ever could. I think they build their homes more efficiently than any other national home builder out there. I think their financing structure with the bonds and the community development districts are very efficient. I don't see any national home builder coming in and changing how the villages is doing things. Uh, there might be home builders that come in and they might raise your amenity fees. I don't know. I think one of the things that nobody talks about that the villages does well is they pass along increases in small increments, and I know that for a fact. Some years where, like the last few years where the inflation rate jumped so high, we had 9, 10, 12% inflation rate, the villages could have bumped your amenity fees, your maintenance assessment fees. They could have easily justified bumping those fees 5, 6, 10%, but they didn't. They incrementally increased it 3%. And I think that's what the villages does very well. They could bump these things really quick. They could jump them 5, 6, 10% at a time, but they don't do that. They try not to. They're afraid of the backlash, and they would get a lot of backlash. The only thing that I could see a national builder coming in and doing if they took over the villages is they would not be afraid to make those large increases in amenity fees and maintenance fees and fire fees, where the villages was always kind of shy to do it. They'd always do it in 2 and 3% increments. I could see a national builder come in and make those 5 and 8 and 10% increases. That would be the only thing I would worry about if the villages would sell their home building operations. And besides, the people that are in control of the maintenance assessment fees, at least, are the community development district. That's an independent district. I don't know if the new ownership would have influence on raising maintenance assessment fees or not. So there's a lot of unknowns, but I think nobody gives the villages credit for maintaining the costs that they are maintaining. I know everybody seems to bash the villages. The costs are constantly going up, but the price of things have gone up exponentially in the last 4 or 5 years as well. Could they do a better job of cutting costs? Maybe they could, but they could also raise costs in large increments, and they're not doing it. So that would be my concern about a national builder coming in and buying the villages, is you're going to have different decision makers when it comes to raising amenity fee rates and potentially maintenance assessment fee rates. But who knows? That's the way life is. The villages is still very reasonably priced when you compare it. I have a subscriber that lives in a 55 plus community. It's an HOA in Florida. She's paying $1,000 a month in HOA fees. In the villages, when you add up all your fees, your maintenance assessment, your bond, and your fire fees, you're still only paying what, $300, $400, maybe $500 a month. It's still reasonable for what you get. Okay, what do we want to do here? Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll move on and talk about some of the new homes in the villages, Florida. Also, let me know what kind of content you want me to do. I'm kind of limited in the kind of content, so I'm kind of going through the villages map all the time. I will try to think of different things to talk about, like what to do when you live in the villages. I'm thinking about doing a series of videos on what to do outside the villages. What are some of the favorite pastimes that villagers do that are not located in the villages? And there's a lot of things that villagers do to pass their time away. For instance, to go to the Gulf of Mexico and they'll go deep sea fishing. They'll go to Crystal River and take a boat tour and watch the what do you call those animals that float around in the water, the manatees. So I'm thinking about doing a video series on what to do around the villages, so I don't bore you with new homes all the time. But I just think that if people are interested in the villages, they're interested in real estate and housing, right? Golf carts are a crowd pleaser. Yes. Some of my most popular videos that I did when I did golf cart tours and I test drove golf carts. I have a lot of views on my golf cart videos, but I'm not in Florida, so I can't really get into a golf cart and drive it. What I could do maybe is go to like the Villages Golf Car website and just kind of go through and talk about the different golf cars that they have on the lot, and give you my opinion. And in general, my opinion is that the golf cars are grossly overpriced right now. Really expensive. I cannot believe some people are paying $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 for a golf car. How feasible? There's a lot of people that have dogs in patio villas. A lot of people have multiple dogs in patio villas. It's very common. And they not only have small dogs, but they have large dogs. They have these Labradoodles. Everybody in the villages seems to own a Labradoodle. That's a larger, medium-sized dog. And I live in a patio villa, and I know there's at least one of my neighbors that has a Labradoodle in her patio villa. So it's very feasible to have a dog in a patio villa. A lot of people have dogs, and some people have multiple dogs. I always thought that there was a limit on the number of dogs you could have, but I think I know of one individual that has 3 dogs in a patio villa. It's like, really? So I always thought there was a limit on the size of the dog in the villages, and it doesn't seem to be. Nobody seems to enforce that rule. If there is a rule, everything is enforced by complaints. It's a complaint-driven system. So if nobody complains about your dog or about anything you do to your property, the villages don't enforce it. But if you have a neighbor that has a problem and they complain, that's the only time that rules get enforced. I live in a patio villa neighborhood, and one of my neighbors had a really big, white, fluffy dog. And the dog had anger issues. And that man would walk the dog around the neighborhood, and that dog would bark, and it would be aggressive, and he would have it on a leash. And most of the neighbors were afraid of the dog. That dog, I think, was too big to be in the villages, but nobody complained about it, and the man had his dog. He eventually left the villages for an incident that involved the dog. Very crazy incident that involved the dog. So he ended up leaving the villages, not because anybody complained, because he chose to leave the villages. So my only recommendation is, buy smaller dogs. No, but a lot of people have dogs in the patio villas. It is very, very common to have a dog in the villages. So what else do we want to talk about? It's the same old, same old. This is the map of the villages, new homes. You have the Isabella Garden Villas. One of my subscribers recently purchased an Isabella Garden Villa home. Congratulations. And these homes are somewhat of an enigma to me. They're pretty nice homes, but nobody seems to be buying them. All the small homes are still available for sale. The larger homes have sold. You see a lot more designer homes here in Well Point being listed for sale. I think the Villages is listing homes slower. You still have a lot of veranda homes here in Oak Hollow for sale. I'm surprised these aren't selling faster than what they are. And here you have Edenfield. You have lots of land. Can anybody tell me what this green patch is right here? This is Edenfield. That is the St. Tropez Rec Center. These are lots of land for sale. And here is a green patch that's unidentified. Is this another neighborhood of homes? Let me know. What? Can you put privacy plantings? You might need ARC approval for the privacy plantings. I would seek ARC approval. Oh, those are verandas in Edenfield? Thanks, Mike. Anything you do to the outside of your home, you need to get Architectural Review Committee approval. I mean anything, including plants. Most likely they'll allow you to do it, but you don't want to buy the plants, put them in the ground, have a neighbor complain, and then have the ARC tell you you have to remove your plants. So anything you do on the outside of your home, you need to have ARC pre-approval. Or you could take a chance that you plant the plants, nobody complains, or somebody complains, and then you go to the ARC after the fact and seek approval. And people do that on occasion. They seek approval after the fact. But you're rolling the dice, you're taking a chance. The Villages is very strict on how the outside of the homes look, and they don't want people to plant crazy, weird things in and around their yard. So they want to control what people are putting in so the homes and the neighborhoods don't look like a jungle eventually. So I think you're going to need to seek ARC approval. Veranda homes in Edenfield. Is that what that some green space is right there? Those are veranda homes? Interesting. What's this comment? Those verandas in Oak Hollow have a huge cell tower. Yes. Yeah, the cell tower is relocated. Yes. And what Mike is talking about are these veranda homes here. The Veranda Homes West neighborhood in Oak Hollow. And right here, somewhere right here, if you can see my mouse pointer, there's a very tall cell tower located. It's right next to these homes. Somewhere in here. Very tall cell tower. Yeah. They most likely will allow you to put plants behind your home if they're not crazy, weird plants, but you should seek approval first. And if you have some kind of a reasonable landscaping drawing and you name the plants, they most likely would approve it. Again, the Villages and the ARC generally are very reasonable. You have to understand that when they clamp down on people, usually the people they're clamping down on are doing things around their home that are weird or unreasonable. For instance, there was a resident that lived in the northern part of the Villages that painted his driveway robin egg blue. They're trying to avoid things like that. And when they come down on people, they are usually coming down on the people that are just crazy weird about how they decorate their homes. And if you don't control how people decorate their homes, you're going to see people with purple siding on their home. You're going to see people with blue driveways. You're going to see people planting strange things, and a lot of it. and it's just going to make the community look terrible. Not really. That's the problem with the village's map, is they don't really identify where the power lines are. All you see really is a patch, and I'll show you that, J-Lo, on the map. I'll give you an example. So here in the village of Water's Edge, and the Water's Edge Veranda Homes West. This is Eastport, Central Lake, Eastport. Right here is the Water's Edge Veranda Homes West neighborhood. And these homes here are backed up to a power line. So this green patch here, there is a power line. The power lines are not too bad looking, actually. There's not like a lot of wires. There's only like 3 wires. It's not like in the village of St. Catherine and what else is down over there, where the power lines are just really god awful ugly. And that's one of the reasons I didn't buy a new home in the St. Catherine area, because of those ugly power lines. I was going to buy a home, brand new home there. But these power lines, you can see they are running east to west. You can see this green patch, and there's only like 3 of them, and they're really high up, and they're not that bad looking compared to the power lines in St. Catherine. My God, the power lines in St. Catherine are just ridiculous. And if you look at the power lines in St. Catherine, where are they? I think it's this. Is it this one? I think these are the power lines in St. Catherine, this green patch here. They're really high. There are a lot of them. There's like 6 or 8 power lines. The power poles are huge power poles, where the power lines in Water's Edge, it's just 1 pole with like 3 wires. They're not that bad looking. But these here in St. Catherine, the power poles are ginormous. They look like a transformer. They're just giant power poles with many, many different wires on it. And that's the primary reason I did not buy in this area. But the power lines in Water's Edge are not bad at all in comparison. They wouldn't bother me. And then here in Water's Edge, yes, and they run adjacent to the Addison Patio Villas, and they run behind the Water's Edge Veranda Homes of West neighborhood. So that's what they look like on the map. Yeah, I would tend to avoid the power lines too. But in Water's Edge, they're not that bad. But if you're looking in Water's Edge, you want to live in this neighborhood here. If you're looking for patio villas here, designer homes here, or you're looking at this area here, this area here is far enough away from the power wires. You can't really see them. So if you live in this area, they're far enough away. But if you want to make sure, you'd buy a designer home here. Or you want to buy a designer home here in the village of Shady Brook, if you want to really avoid the power wires. Or you buy this designer home right here, for instance. This designer home is close to Eastport. It's far enough away from power wires. It has a northeast facing lanai. And I don't know why this home is still on the market for sale. So there you have that. Well, thanks for watching my videos today. So that's your tour around the villages. I've been talking for 1 hour and 14 minutes. I have a sore throat. I think I'm going to end my live stream. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will go live again. I will try to do more lives on a regular recurring basis. I'm trying to do lives on either Sunday nights or Monday nights or Tuesday nights in Florida. And today's live is Tuesday night in Florida. So I'll try to do them once a week. I'll try to do them Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday night, depending on how I feel and my time. You're welcome, Sicilian. Reminds me of a Sicilian pizza. So there you have it. I'll try to do more lives. We'll do the same thing over and over and over again. I'm going to end my live now. Please like and share my videos, my live streams. I appreciate it. Have a good day, everyone. Take care. Have a good night's sleep in Florida. Take care, everyone. I'll go live again.